We have to start focusing on cutting the spending. The way you do that is I put out my economic plan last week. We're going to focus on the middle class. We're going to reduce the taxes for the middle class, and we're going to collapse those brackets so that they have more cash in their pocket. We're going to cut the federal gas and diesel tax, because we know right now the small portion that comes from the federal government also pays for hiking trails and bike trails and everything else. We need to make sure that we start looking at an infrastructure plan that's 20, 30, 40 years out, not from the old archaic system that we've always used. And let's go to zero-based budgeting. Government needs to say, what do we have to have? And then build up, instead of what you're talking about, which is you just assume everything we paid for last year, we're going to pay again and then add more to it.
You can still have all the stuff. You just need to start from zero.
Let's prioritize what we have to have. There's a lot of old programs. There's a lot of problems that we have in that. When we do that, and then let's look at, you're seeing a government shutdown conversation that's happening right now. And it's a false narrative to say that the Freedom Caucus is holding things hostage because they want to cut, or do you allow the government to go forward? First of all, you cut and you allow the government to go forward. You can have both, not either or. Think about this. Congress has proposed a budget on time 4 times in 40 years. 4 times in 40 years. We have to go back to no budget, no pay. If Congress can't produce a budget, Congress doesn't get paid. We should not be in this scenario, but because they wait and they don't work and they don't produce results, we end up in the same situation over and over again. That'll stop when I'm president.
It's also been shown that government shutdowns hurt both parties. Have you talked to leadership at all, particularly as you guys are headed into the second presidential debate?
I haven't talked to leadership. I've talked to all of Congress, saying it is irresponsible and inexcusable that you would let government shut down.
And what's the response?
It is also irresponsible and inexcusable to not cut all of this spending. They are using our budget and keeping it in pandemic spending. We're no longer in a pandemic. Why are they still spending at those levels? Taxpayers can't afford it.
So what's their response when you say, guys, get it together?
I mean, they need to get in a room and figure it out. We're going to find out, I guess.
But are you worried that this is going to harm the party?
This is going to harm taxpayers. It's not about the party. Taxpayers already can't afford groceries and gas. They can't afford buying a home or buying a car. And now you're going to say, oh, we can't figure it out. We're going to shut down government. That's not okay. You don't get to do that. Instead, you have to start cutting what you spend. Why is it everybody in this room balances a budget? I balanced a budget as governor of South Carolina. Why is Congress the only group that refuses to balance a budget? It's the reason we have to have term limits in Washington, but it's also the reason we need them to start doing their job. Taxpayers and businesses work for government right now. So government's got to start working for them.